Welcome to episode 24 in A Guide to Ninja series, this one covering Elite Evasion Gearsets. Now in this video, I'll cover the Evasion stat and the Evasion Gearset overview, as well as give you situations in which you'll be using an Evasion Gearset. We'll then finish it all up with my recommendations for what you use in your Elite Evasion Gearset. Now in this episode, I'll go over some of the best Evasion Gearset options in the game, and show the best in slot option as well as other notable options. Evasion is your ability to evade an enemy's physical attacks. You can increase your evasion 3 ways with gear. 1, by adding evasion gear, which is the most efficient way. 2, by adding evasion skill gear. And the third way is by adding agility. Now if you add evasion skill, it's going to add 0.9 evasion for each skill that you add, and you will get 1 evasion skill for each 2 agility that you add. Note though that regardless of how much evasion you add, it's going to cap at an 80% evasion rate, so you will always still be getting hit with at least 20% of the attacks coming at you. Now I'm also normally going to add in some level of magic evasion into this set when possible as a secondary stat, as it stands to reason that since I'm using this set to evade physical attacks, I may also be concerned about magic attacks on that particular enemy or groups of enemies as well. Note that similar to Accuracy Gear Set, using this Evasion Gear Set will lower your overall DPS. Now this is because you're going to be gaining TP a bit slower, but things like self-skill change should still be possible if you are haste capped and using a shuriken. You will also want to always have Yonin up if you're worried about your evasion, because at maximum potency it will give you a boost of 30 to your evasion. Next, let's move on to the situations in which you'll use this Evasion Gear Set. Now, I most frequently find myself switching to my Evasion Gear Set when I'm fighting mobs that are high above my level with the trust setup, usually at 140 plus, or when I'm tanking a group of lower level mobs 119 plus that I want to be able to keep shadows up for. Remember that you will still be getting hit for approximately 20% of the time even at maximum evasion cap, so you don't want too big of a group of mobs or you will still be unable to keep those shadows up. This set is also very useful to use when a strong enemy uses something like 100 Fists, as it will allow you to more easily deal with that flurry of attacks coming at you. Now the best way to determine if you need to switch to an Evasion Gear Set is how quickly your shadows are being stripped away, and how hard that enemy is hitting you. If the enemy has the ability to one-shot you with a melee attack, or if you are losing shadows faster than you can recast them, then I find it's best to be in your Evasion Gear. Now even though you will lose DPS, you actually should gain much of it back in saved shadow casting time and the time that you would be interrupted during those castings. Let's go ahead and delve into the gear that we're going to use in this Evasion Gear Set. As always, let's start with the main hand weapon. Now the best in slot option here is going to be the Kanagi, because it gives you a boost of 70 agility, which of course translates to 35 evasion. Now a good alternative to this is the Ratio +1. It'll actually give you a native 38 evasion, plus an additional 14 agility, which is good for another 7 evasion. So it gives you a total of 45, 10 more the Kanagi. Now I'm keeping the Kanagi as the best in slot option here, because frankly I don't think you should use anything other than a Rima weapon if you have them available as your main weapon. However, if you truly are going for the highest evasion number possible, then that Ratio +1 is going to give it to you when this is used in the main hand. Now when we go to the offhand, we actually find the Turnian Dagger +1 is going to give us our best evasion option, which will give you an evasion boost of 27 and an agility boost of 10 to 15 for a total evasion boost of 32 to 34.5. Now the second best option would be the Shigi, which will give you a total evasion boost of 27 and also has a low delay, but its DPS is far below that of Turnian Dagger +1. Now you of course still could use that Ratio +1 here in your offhand if you didn't use it in your main, and it will give you your best overall evasion numbers. However, your DPS will definitely suffer over using the Turnian +1. This brings us to the ammo slot, where in the interest of DPS, I recommend the Date Shuriken as the best in slot option. It'll give you a total evasion boost of 7.5 and allow you to continue taking advantage of the Dokken effect, which will be important to making sure that you can still self-skill chain. Now if you were going for pure evasion numbers only, then the Yamarang is your best option, as it will give you twice as much evasion at 15, and then additionally 15 magic evasion, which will of course help in evading those magic attacks. For the head slot, I recommend the Malignant's Chapeau, which will give you a magic evasion boost of 123 and a total evasion boost of 107.5. Now you can get a better total evasion boost if you go with the Alhazan Hat +1, which will give you a 110 evasion, so 2.5 more. However, the magic evasion on it drops all the way to only 45. Additionally, you will lose out on the store TP bonus that's on the hat, as well as the damage taken reduction of -6%, which we're going to need if we intend to reach the cap in this gear set. Now when it comes to the next slot, the Bathy Choker +1 augmented through Odyssey is going to be our best option, giving us a total evasion boost of 15 to 25, and it adds a counter of +10, which is also going to help to evade those attacks, because any attacks we counter, we obviously would evade. Now the Combatant's Torque would be a good alternative to this. It'll give you an evasion skill boost of 15 and a parrying skill boost of 15 for a total evasion boost of 13.5. Note that the choker is really the option you want to go for here, as that subtle blow is also very important when it comes to making sure that you're capping your subtle blow in this evasion set. Next, it'll be the earring slot, where we have two decisive winners. The first is the Ebony earring, which will give you a total magic evasion boost of 8 and a total evasion boost of 15. The next is the infused earring, which will give you a total evasion boost of 12. Now there are all two alternatives to this. The first is the Balder earring +1. It'll only give you a total evasion boost of 10, but its store TP and quad attack will help you in making sure that you can self-skill chain. The other option is the Ran earring. This is only going to give you a boost of 9 evasion, but is an option to use while you work on the other more potent option. This brings us to the body slot, where the Malignant Tabard will give us a massive total evasion boost of 123 and give a nice boost to our magic evasion of 139. Now the Emmet Harness +1 gets close if you don't have a Tabard yet. It'll give you a total evasion boost of 121.5. Note that sadly, you'll take a big hit to your magic evasion here, as it only gives you a boost of 64. Now for the hand slot, a curious option of the Shigur Tekko +1. This option has gone under the radar of many, but will actually give you a total massive evasion boost of 125 and 116 magic evasion. By comparison, the next closest competitor is the Malignant Gloves, which will give you a magic evasion boost of 112 and a total evasion boost of only 92. So this is that one instance where the Malignants can get beaten in both categories, so there really should be no reason you aren't using the Shigur Tekko +1. Also note, the Tekko will give you up to 7 subtle blow, which will end up capping you if you have also used the choker neck piece. So between those two pieces, you can make sure that you still cap your subtle blow. This brings us to rings, where we actually have only a few options when it comes to Ninja. The best in slot options are going to be the Vengeful Ring, which will give you an evasion boost of 9 and a magic evasion boost of 9, and the Hizumaru Ring, which will give you an evasion boost of 12, and additionally give you some store TP boost of 5, which will of course help out with making sure so you can self-skill chain and get that DPS up. Now I can't really suggest any other ring in regards to an evasion set for Ninja, so if you don't have one of these two options, just go ahead and use another ring that's going to lend itself well to the set and what you're trying to do. And for the back slot, we once again have the Andartia's Mantle, with an agility boost of 20, evasion boost of 45, magic evasion boost of 20, and that gives us a total evasion boost of 55. There are no alternatives that I can suggest to this back piece, and I suggest the stats of store TP +10 or double attack +10 on this as well to help with your DPS, and once again, that ability to self-skill chain. And next we have the waist slot, where the Svelte Gortz +1 is your best in slot option, with an evasion boost of 10 and an agility boost of 10, gives you a total evasion boost of 15. Now the Kasiri Belt will give you an evasion boost of 13, so only 2 behind the Svelte Gortz +1, and it'll give you some additional nice tanking stats such as hit points +30 and enmity +3. And now for the leg slot, we have a similar situation as we did with the head, where the best in slot option I'll recommend is the Malignant Tights, which will give you a total magic evasion boost of 150 and a total evasion boost of 106. Now the Rao Hate +1 will actually end up giving you a total evasion boost of 107.5 on Path A. However, its magic evasion boost suffers dramatically at only +64. Additionally, it does not have the damage taken reduction that we're going to be needing to make sure that we reach the damage reduction cap for magic damage. This brings us to our final slot, the feet slot, where the Mellink's Boots will be our best in slot winner by far, which will give you a total evasion boost of 143.5 and a magic evasion boost of 150. Now the Hizumaru Tsunade +2 aren't nearly as good with either magic evasion or total evasion, but they are your next best option if you don't happen to have this Mellink's piece yet. So as you can see, the best in slot option that I'm recommending here involves the Date Shuriken, the Melling Chapeau, the Bathy Choker, the Ebony Earring, the Infused Earring, Melling's Body, the Shigur Teko, the Vengeful Ring, Hizumaru Ring, and Artia's Mantle, Svelte Gorts, Melling's Tights, and Melling's Boots. Now the benefit of this particular setup is it gives you close to the max evasion possible for Ninja, missing only a few, and while swapping those few pieces of evasion for a really good boost to magic evasion, allowing you to reach near the total magic evasion that Ninja can achieve with this set. It also allows you to cap your subtle blow, and cap your magic damage reduction, and gives you lots of store TP to assist with your DPS and self-skill chaining. That's going to be it for this gear set video, everyone. Just 3 more to go, covering magic evasion, magic defense, and total defense. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week.